and I'm concerned about it. Earmark spending, cap and trade, Obamacare, all of these things are affecting the state of Oklahoma. The policies from Washington, D.C. has now infected the state and has got a grip, a death grip on our economy. Now, folks, I'm running for governor for a very simple reason. I plan on challenging the status quo. I want to break the ties of Washington, D.C., the chains that have been wrapped around our neck and are sinking our economic prosperity in this state. I want to stop the erosion of our economy. I want to protect Oklahomans' life and liberty. I want to limit the power of the politician and transfer the power where it truly belongs, and that's back to the people. I want to create jobs not with another government bailout or subsidy or handout, but by releasing the ingenuity and the creativity of the individual and utilizing the free market principles, the only thing that will allow our economy to prosper once again. I'm also concerned about the moral decay that we have seen infiltrate our country and our state over the last couple of decades. Stop and think about this for a minute. How is it we've gone from where the family used to sit around and watch Father Knows Best, now we watch Will and Grace. I Love Lucy to Sex and the City. How is it we've moved from watching Ozzie and Harriet to 2.5 Men? How is it our nation has shifted from one nation under God to a nation of perversion and scandal? How is it we've gone from justice and liberty for all to favor for a few and bondage for way too many? How is it we've gone from love of country to one of self-indulgence? I can tell you how it's happened. We have become a people who have settled for corruption, for ignorance from our elected officials. And the politicians of today have captured our freedom and have taken it away from us while we sit here tonight. We have slipped into settling for what we have. Folks, we've taken our eyes off what's important. We have taken our eyes off of the truth. We have taken our eyes what made this nation great, and that's freedom. Now, I realize I just laid something pretty heavy on you. And I realize that I painted a rather bleak picture tonight. And I did that by design. I'm trying to get you to understand how desperate of a situation we are in. I'm trying to get you to understand that we truly need a new kind of leadership in this state today. Now, that's all the bad news I'm going to give you, okay? You want some good news? Yes. Here's some good news. As bad as the problems are that we're facing here in this state with our economy, job loss, and all the things that I've discussed, with all the problems that we are facing as a nation, everything can be cured. All the ills that we're facing can be cured simply by doing one thing, and that is to return to the founding principles that made this nation great. I'm talking about constitutional, limited government, personal responsibility, and the expansion of freedom. Folks, that's it. That is the key to returning our nation to greatness, to returning the state of Oklahoma to a sound economy. It's time we cut the strings with Washington, D.C. It's time to get the D.C. politicians off of our back and out of our hip pocket. It's time we break the chains of big government that binds the creativity of the individual and stifles the jobs. And I believe as long as we protect the Constitution, the principles, the values, The tenets of that document is if we would once again protect those, I believe our nation will be blessed. Now, we've got a big job ahead of us, I can tell you that for sure. And it is a task that none of us can do all by ourselves. And the race that I'm in for governor reminds me of what Nehemiah must have felt like when he was asked to rebuild the wall around Jerusalem. You guys remember that Bible story? He was asked by God to rebuild that wall. You see, Jerusalem was at risk. They were in trouble. The enemies were now breathing down their neck, and all of Jerusalem was at risk of being captured and destroyed because the wall of protection had been destroyed. But Nehemiah did something pretty neat. He didn't just try and build the wall by himself. He knew he couldn't. As a matter of fact, the last time the wall had to be rebuilt, it took 91 years. And he didn't have 91 years. But here's what he did. He went out and he shared his vision of restoration. He went to the priests, the nobles, his friends, his family, his next-door neighbors. And he shared his vision to restore that wall. And he said, I'm asking you to do something. All I want you to do, I'm not asking you to rebuild the whole wall. I want you to do just your part. Would you just rebuild that portion of wall in front of your home? Would you just rebuild that little portion of wall in front of your home, in front of yours, in front of yours? That's it. Just do your part. And you know what? It didn't take 91 years to rebuild the wall. That wall was rebuilt in a record 52 days because everyone caught the vision of restoration, and Israel was safe. As I campaign for governor, I'm traveling the state of Oklahoma, sharing my vision of restoration. Folks, I got to tell you, I don't like the change that has come to America. I don't like it at all. And I'm calling for something entirely different than change tonight. I'm calling for restoration. I want those values of our founding fathers restored. I want the tenets and the principles of the Constitution restored in the heart and the soul and the mind of every Oklahoman that loves liberty and are still willing to defend it. We have an opportunity tonight